Okay, girls, let's carry on. Okay, our next part we're going to say, let's use some ordered pairs to graph the following relations. It's just what we did, except they're going to be slightly different lines. Okay, so this time we're going to graph y equals 2x plus 2, and we'll graph it there. Or sorry, we'll make our chart there. And the next one, y equals x plus 2, and we'll make our chart of ordered pairs there. And the last one, y equals 4x plus 2. Okay. So let's do the same thing that we were doing. So we said if x is, then y is. And then our last one, if x is, then y is. And then our last one for y equals 4x plus 2. And the same thing. If x is, then y is. Okay. So we're going to use the same thing. 1, 2, 3. Maybe we'll just do 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we got to generate the y values. Okay, plug in here. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 2 is 6. And 3 times 2 is 6, and 2 is 8. 4 times 2 is 8, 2, 10. And then the next one, 1 plus 2 is 3. 2 plus 2 is 4. 3 plus 2 is 5. And 4 plus 2 is 6. Here, 4 times 1 is 4 plus 2 is 6. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 2 is 10. 3 times 4 is 12. Whoops, that's not right. I'm going too fast, sorry. Slow down. 4 times 3 is 12 plus 2 is 14. 4 times 4 is 16 plus 2 is 18. Okay, so we're going to get a piece of graph paper out and then we're going to graph these. So there's my graph paper. Maybe I'll just write these as ordered pairs for you. So this will be 1, 4, 2, 6, 3, 8, and 4, 10, 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5, and 4, 6, 1, 6, 2, 10, 3, 14, and 4, 18. Okay, so let's graph the first line. So 1, 4. Remember on our x and our y, x comes first. So we have 1 on the x, and if we go 4 up because they're both positive, 2, 6. Be careful now, the points have to be really good. 3, 8. And 4, 10. So that's one line. We need 2 points. We have 4. We can go ahead and graph it. Be as accurate as you can. So this line, you got to put the arrows to indicate that it is a line. And this one is y equals 2x plus 2. And our next line is going to be y equals x plus 2. And here's our ordered pairs. So 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5, 4, 6. Let's graph this line. Oh boy, the ruler's broken. And this one's called y equals x plus 2. And then our next one, 4x plus 2. That's this one here, and there's our ordered pairs. So we're starting out with 1, 6, 1, 6, 2, 10, 3, 14, 4, 18, use your ruler, and be very careful of how you graph these, yo. This one is called y equals 4x plus 2. Okay, well, we don't have parallel lines this time. What do we have? Well, it looks like they all cross at positive 1, positive 2. There's a reason for that. Look at this number. 2, positive 2, positive 2. So this number tells you where it crosses the y-axis. And in this case, they're all plus 2. So each line passes through or crosses or intersects positive 2. Okay, so I can put some notes at the bottom of this page. And here. And then I'll go back and I'll summarize what our graphs are. Okay. So let's just summarize this graph, and then I'll go back and do the other one. I kind of went out of order a little bit, sorry. Okay. The 3 lines all cross the y-axis. at the same point. At the same point. Period. In other words, next sentence. In other words, comma, they have the same y-intercept. Intercept is a fancy name for where the line crosses the y-axis, the y-intercept. Okay, next sentence. The y-intercept it's just where it crosses. The y-intercept is also defined as the point where x is equal to 0. X is equal to 0. Right? If you look here, there's no x value. It's because they're all crossing the y-axis at positive 2. So there's no x, it's just on the y-axis. Okay? So this point here is 0, because it doesn't move horizontally, comma 2. That's where all three of these lines intersect. And what I wanted to do is I missed talking about something, so I'm going to have to, hang on. I want to go back and talk about the first ones. This one here, sorry girls, I missed notes that goes with this, but we'll fix it up right now. So this table of values was the first one that we did, and it goes with the parallel lines. So let's just put these notes under here. We're going to say these three lines are parallel. These three lines are parallel and have the same steepness. And the proper word for that is slope. This idea of slope is super important. So these three lines have the exact same steepness, right? This pink line is steeper. This pink line is steeper than these three, right? So this would be less steep, and we're getting steeper, 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 and the pink line is still steeper. So the higher the x value, the steeper the line. The lower the x value, the more shallow or less steep the line. And because these values are the same, the slopes are parallel. So let's continue our notations there. The next sentence, specifically, comma, they have a slope comma, they have a slope of, look at these, what's the slope? The number in front of the x says the slope, 2, 2, and 2. So they have a slope of 2, comma, meaning that for every meaning that for every 1 unit, 1 square if you like on our graph paper, meaning that for every 1 unit to the right, 1 unit to the right, comma, the line goes up 2 units. The line goes up 2 units. Another way to look at it, next sentence, or comma, for every horizontal I'm going to use the word run here. So when I use the word run, that means we're going from left to right. Run. And rise is going to be the next word, is either going up or down. I would call that a rise, and I would call that a fall. Running, rising, and if we're on the bottom side of the x-axis, falling. So this word here, super important, or run of 1, comma, the vertical rise, remember it could be a fall, just depends, is 2. This is how, next sentence, this is how slope is defined. Hopefully we can fit it on here. Yeah, we can. So slope, steepness, slope is equal to rise over run. Now let's just say here, rise is going to be the change in the y direction, right? And that could be up or down, right? And the run is going to be the change in the x direction. This here important. This is going to be always to the right. Always to the right. So for running, we're always running to the right. Rise, I call it above rise, I call it below fall, but we always have to be running. Okay, so let's just look at this point on, let's just take the black line, 2x plus 2. So we're going to be rising 2, 1, 2, running 1. These are all the same. I'll get more into that. Uno momento, por favor.